Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to our humble abode.
Greetings and salutations.
We're in everybody's house today.
Yeah, well, excuse the weird barking or whimpering or muffled dog noises you hear. They were, of course, napping completely nicely until this very moment, and then they decided it's time to wrestle.
The dogs. She's not talking about us.
No, not us.
Oh, okay. Good. Well, to introduce everybody, this is Adam Hughes and Allison Sohn, and we're so happy that you took some time to talk with us about comics and stuff. How are you guys all faring during this pandemic?
We're okay.
That was the do we really tell them look?
I died weeks ago. This is my ghost.
No, we're good. You know, we're pretty strict adherents of the stay at home and don't risk other people. So we're home a lot. We don't go out. We're just here. And it's not that different than being a freelancer working from home, except that we're not going to Comic-Cons. We aren't popping out to, a local restaurant to grab dinner. And I'm not going to dog shows or dog training classes. So it's very much, normal freelancer stuff times like 100.
Right.
And I'm wearing a hat, so you don't have to look at my hermit Luke Skywalker haircut that I'm working on.
Yeah, he's wearing a hat, but oddly enough, probably not pants.
Ooh.
Good guess. You win a view of Adam's no pants.
Yeah.
No.
But that has nothing to do with the pandemic.
That's just Fridays. No pants Fridays.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So.
I mean, down here in Georgia, it's pretty much considered that the first day of winter is the day I put on pants.
Nice.
See, I'm walking around here in New York, and if it's above 30 degrees, I'm still wearing shorts.
Yeah.
There was one time we were in New York City. I believe it was for a convention, and Allison wanted to go shopping in the garment district, and I just wanted to smoke a cigar. So she went in the building with a friend, and I stood outside in 45-degree weather with shorts on, a flannel jacket, my Indiana Jones bag, black sunglasses, this hat, smoking my cigar, and I was just leaning on a mailbox. And the mailman came up, and he came up to take the mail out, and I was just sitting there smoking next to the mailbox in my shorts in winter in New York City. And are you a private detective? And I was like, what makes you say that? And he's like, you look like one. And I thought, like, wow. I thought they were supposed to be unobtrusive, and like I really stood out. No, I have no pants on.
What I want to know is what that mailman was doing wrong that he thought a private detective was following him.
I could have just been staking out the garment district for crime.
Garment crime.
Garment crime.
Fashion crime.
I want to know when the Adam Hughes Private Eye comic book comes out, and will you sign at our store with the number one?
They were. Sure.
It froze.
Oh.
It's my computer.
I said sure. I said sure.
Oh.
All right.
All that big weight and nothing.
Yeah.
So we do tend to kind of get a little silly and off topic and not always comics. So one of my burning questions for you guys is, you mentioned the dogs before, and you have the dogs, but out of all dogs, why sheepdogs?
I grew up with them. So when I was a little kid, we had them. And then I went 30 years without a dog. And I used to watch the Westminster Dog Show. I love watching dogs. And I remember this is before we'd gotten our first two. Judges were, this is the herding group. And they started announcing dogs. They're like, the Belgian Malinois ran guns during World War II for the French resistance. And the German Shepherd dog, a police dog, the old English sheepdog, a silly breed. I kid you not, that is exactly what they said.
That was the extent. It was like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. What does it say about Earth? Harmless.
Right, mostly harmless.
Harmless.
Well, that was the updated.
Right. So, and they're not wrong. It's a silly breed. I mean, they're terrific workers. They're smart. They're sensitive. They're wonderful comfort dogs, but they're silly. And, we work from home. Working in comics might look like a bag full of fun, but it can be a little strenuous, and having a silly breed around the house times 4 is definitely A-okay with us.
They're also the only breed that doesn't look at you and go, "Really? No pants?"
Right. They have enormous butts, so they have a hard time finding pants. So they get it.
Well, I have a border collie, and he's a little intense. It's an it's an Australian border collie, so he's not as intense. He's just a little, more laid back than border collies.
They're pretty they can be neurotic if they don't get enough work to do.
Yeah, he's laser focused on things all the time, but and he's kind of like a fluffy dog, because we tend not to shave him down too much, but
Sure.
sometimes he gets out there and he gets in mud and other stuff, and I'm wondering how does that fare with sheepdogs?
It's bad. It's really bad.
That was the answer I was expecting, but I wasn't sure if I was going to get it.
Yeah. Oh no, it's bad. We've got 4 dogs. 2 of them we try to keep shaved down. 2 of them have enormous, giant, take them on the road, put them on TV dog show coats, and we actually have a professional grooming setup here in the house, complete with giant walk-up stainless steel bath, high-powered hair dryers, and it's still when they get dirty and they require a full bath, it's like a 5-hour ordeal, beginning to end.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically that answers my next question. I can bring my dog to your house to have him groomed and cleaned and everything.
Just not on No Pants
We have
Friday.
all the things.
We've actually had other, dog people with
with their dogs.
And do you charge them or not?
Well, they have to take off their pants, obviously. It's a no pants zone.
Yeah, I mean,
It seems to be a recurring theme in the Hughes house there.
that is a well-established fact now in this video. In fact, that should be the header for this video. A
No pants video. Exactly. Just warn everybody in advance. No pants video.
Yeah, no pants. Yeah, but it's not. Watching it won't be anywhere near as salacious as we make it sound.
Well, no, because obviously we're filming from the no pants up, right?
It's just this. So, other than quarantine, what are you both working on right now, comic wise or art wise in general?
Adam is celebrating.
Yeah, I just uploaded Hellboy 7 Wives Club. I finished all the art and all the colors, and I literally 5 minutes ago uploaded it to Dark Horse Comics. So,
Congratulations! That's awesome.
Nice. When can we expect that?
I don't know. That's up to Dark Horse. You can expect. You were supposed to expect it last December, but I went a little crazy on the art. So Dark Horse has been very accommodating and wonderful, and it looks, it looks like 22 covers.
Yeah, Adam took advantage. He was like, "Hey, I've got this lockdown, the pencils down order. I could get ahead on other projects, or I could just keep working on this one to make it really worthwhile when people get it." And he went with option 2.
Yeah, that's such a downer. Let Adam Hughes go wild on artwork, right? Yeah.
The fans are going to be so disappointed.
I'm hoping the royalties are really good, so I can buy some pants for a change.
It's the real reason. Hellboy took so long, we just can't afford pants.
Why? You're not going to wear them.
Yeah, that's such a waste of
I buy
money.
you pants, you never wear them.
When you were talking to the people at Infinite Realities, I was in the comments thread and I had posted a question, but it was right at the end of the video. And my whole thing is, one of our customers had asked me once, as a reader, what my dream crossover would be, and it was a Hellboy, Indiana Jones, Captain America, written and drawn by Adam. So if you could start that now,
Lots of
that would be great.
punching. Lots of punching of Nazis.
Yeah, lots of punching of Nazis. It's like my favorite sport.
What? Yeah, all right. And Hellboy doesn't wear pants, so we're right there.
Yeah.
So
Along those lines, what would be something that would be a dream project for you? Would it be a Hellboy, Indiana Jones, Captain American crossover, or something? Because you've done quite a few things in this business, but what's something that you'd kind of like to do or haven't done?
My dream project is to become an heiress. I just want free money. But a dream project at this point, it's creator owned. It's the freedom to do a creator owned project without having to bet the farm on it. because I have gotten to draw a lot of the things that I've always wanted to draw. And, I mean, yeah, I would love to do an Indiana Jones comic, but I don't love doing licensed work. Indiana Jones wouldn't say that. And he said it in all 4 films. He would never say that. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at this point, my dream project is to do my own thing.
On a completely different note, and I think I'm trying to remember if I'm remembering this correctly. You're a big Jaws fan, yes?
Me? Oh, yeah.
But you've never seen any of the sequels, am I correct?
That is what sequels? There's only one Jaws movie.
Wait a minute. You acknowledge that there's 4 Indiana Jones films. There's literally only 3.
Well,
we have to acknowledge the 4th one because we went to Lucasfilm to see it. They have evidence that we were there.
Yeah,
right,
we actually saw it for the first time at the theater at Lucasfilm, and
so they know we've seen it.
We walked out of it. Our friend who got us the passes was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Is this hallway bugged?" Just the fact that one small town in New England had 4 separate giant shark incidences, I really felt that like every sequel should have been something different.
Like eels?
No, like Jaws 2 should have been werewolves, and like Jaws 3 should have been zombies, and then Jaws 4, this time it's personal, would be the ghost of the original shark coming back.
Oh.
But it should be werewolves and zombies still in the ocean, though, not on land.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of the ocean.
Obviously.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would be silly.
Yeah.
I want so many new books from you.
Yeah.
Self-publication, here we come.
You should just do those things and just title it "Not Jaws 2," the sequel.
Teeth. We'll just call it Teeth. And
lack of Jaws.
Right.
I just think I really think the Jaws films should have just every film is something that bites, and and somehow Larry Vaughn keeps getting reelected. It's just Amity will be open for Halloween. I think it writes itself.
The Larry Vaughn memes in regards to the current COVID-19 situation where they're the best because they're so appropriate.
It's so spot on. And I see all these people like, I'll see memes like, how did he get reelected for a second term? Hence, that's why there shouldn't have been more Jaws movies, but I understand how it works. But I always think that he was in a no-win situation because if he kept the beaches closed to keep the people safe, all the business owners on the island would have voted him off because they, as we see now, they just want the business opens. It doesn't matter how many bodies count.
Yeah.
Boy, are we learning a lot.
If he had kept the beaches open and just let people get chewed up, then the families of all the dead, shark victims would have voted him out. He literally was in one of those political situations where there's no chance because either way it's lose for him. I did. When I did the Betty and Veronica miniseries back in 2016, I did make him the mayor of Riverdale. Including the blazer with all the little anchors on it.
Every once in a while, I want to rob Pellerito's office because he has a piece of the orca.
I do too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to rob your office too. We're slowly but surely putting the boat back together.
There we are. I mean, when he and I first started talking about me working on an Archie project, it was a business lunch at San Diego, and I think it was 2015, and we talked about the comics for about 15 minutes, and then we talked Jaws for hours. So that's where my head's at.
So how did you get your piece of the orca?
My piece of the orca came with the making of Jaws book that was written by 2 of the Martha's Vineyard Islanders who were young people when the film came out. And 8 or 9 years ago, they wrote this amazing book. Let me get my hand in front of the camera. This really thick book about the making of the film, but from the point of view of the people that live there. You know, Hollywood invaded our quaint little, you know, island and brought a giant rubber shark. And if you got the deluxe version, it came with a chit in the back from the orca.
Oh wow. It's weird. I vacation there almost every year with my family. Just it's become this,
No need to
this
brag.
yearly thing.
Yeah. We have
But,
2 futons.
I say that to him every time he goes, and I'm like, "When are you going to take me with you?" And he goes, "Never."
Yeah, it's a vacation. Why would I take him with me?
What is this vacation you keep speaking of? I don't know what that word means.
Well, it's something I do for my own sanity, but it's
so it's like
That hasn't
drinking.
worked very
It's like
well.
drinking.
there's lots of drinking. That's why I don't remember most of the vacations. But it's weird to walk through the different towns and like, oh, I know that place and I know that place, because I've seen them all on film before I even arrived here. So that's kind of cool.
That's always I find wonderful is when, you know, especially if you're a film buff and you really love these films and you watch them over and over again, and then you have this strange sense of deja vu, and you just stand there and your brain is like, and then you go, oh, this is a street from Chinatown. This is a scene where, like, you know, Faye Dunaway and Jack Nicholson were talking, you know, and then you go, oh my God, you know, and you take a picture of yourself, and, you know, if you're nuts like me, you try to match the focal, you know, range of the camera and get it exactly right.
We actually had like an unbelievable opportunity to do that last year when we were in we were doing a convention in Lake Como, Italy, and we took a little. You're all right. You look good.
No, it's.
We did like a tourist day with a whole bunch of people from the event, and we went to the Villa Sir. No.
Anyway, we can't remember the name. Although there's a giant coffee table book over on our coffee table.
Can I see it? The Villa Balbanoa.
There you go.
Something. It's Bilbo Baggins, the villa, and it's where it's
Where all the
they
hobbits live.
It's where they film sequences from Star Wars.
Yeah,
Attack of the Clones is where Anakin and Padme got married.
Yeah.
It's also in Casino Royale at the end where Bond shoots the guy and says Bond. So it's like we actually have a picture of us in the exact spot where Anakin and Padme declared their sand-free love for each other.
Right.
Nice.
It's weird. Franco and I have a picture of us shooting a guy in the leg there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then we stuffed them in the trunk and we drove them all over the place. But yeah.
All right. So you all have traveled a lot for different conventions. So not necessarily the convention itself, but worst experience at a convention outside of the convention, like in the city. Like, hey, we went to this town and it was just terrible.
Oh, I'm sure we've got some.
We've had a lot of great experiences. I mean, one time I was in Italy and a fan threw trash at me, and I guess it was because they couldn't get a sketch.
Was it like a plate of spaghetti or what? What kind of?
Yeah. It was, it was a Vespa. It was actually a little Italian scooter, and I just heard "ciao," and then I got hit with a bike. No.
Back on the plague theme, I did get H1N1 at a Wizard World New York one year.
Oh, it's
back when it was on the pier.
It's in the past. I mean, it's weird because I am a miserable person, but I don't remember all the.
I'm sorry. Did you hear my eyes roll? I apologize. Was that loud?
Anyways, I don't remember a lot of the crummy ones because they've all been, you know, good to great.
I handle a lot of our travel arrangements, and I try to vet a lot of shows and places we're going to go. Sometimes based on have we been there, we haven't been there before. Would Adam enjoy it? Are we going to encounter fans that maybe haven't had a chance before? And generally, Adam hates travel. So I really try to load up on look at all these cool things we can do. And I buy travel books and I make arrangements for neat stuff. And Adam pretty much kicking and screaming right until the point where he's ensconced on the plane, and then he realizes there's no point anymore and relaxes and has a terrific time.
Yeah, I hate the idea of going on a trip, but once on the trip, I have a wonderful time. Now, I will tell you, the one, it probably would have ended in tears. Convention stories, and I apologize to the lovely gentleman who invited me to his lovely country. But I'm going to tell this story, and I'm going to say it the way he said it. One year at San Diego, a gentleman from Russia, and I would love to visit Russia. I mean, and this guy came up, and he looked like one of us. Could have lost a few pounds, ill-fitting Green Lantern T-shirt. And he comes up, and he was like, I would like to invite you to my country. I'd like to invite you to Russia. And I was like, oh, and I was like, and I said, where in Russia? And he didn't hear me right. And he was like, Russia, second largest country on planet, And I was like, no, where, not what is Russia? Where is Russia? And
where in Russia?
Where in Russia? And he said, oh, Moscow. And I paused, and he went, he's capital of Russia. And I was like, I know Russia is the capital, or Moscow is the capital of Russia. And normally, when you get invited to a convention, the inviter or the convention organizer gives you their perk package, their invitation, their pitch.
Yeah.
We'll fly you out.
We'll put you up in this kind of hotel. We'll do a little bit of sightseeing. Or they'll let you know here are all the benefits.
I can imagine what this one was. We give you beer and bottle of vodka.
Not even that. I'd have gone for beer and bottle of vodka.
Yeah. His perk package, his pitch to get me to come to the lovely country of Russia was, we get you to Moscow safely.
No promise of getting you home.
No, don't step on my joke, woman. It's my turn. He said, we get you to Moscow safely. And then he waited for me to say yes. No, we'll get you home safely from Moscow. We'll put you up in anything resembling, 4 walls and a ceiling. And I was like, I will ponder. I will go home and think deeply about this. And sweet guy, but need more than just half a journey.
And this wasn't that long after.
Wait.
Sorry, there it is. This wasn't that long after we heard stories about Putin admires a guy's Super Bowl ring and then walks away with it. And I'm just like, there goes our portfolio. We're not going to Russia.
I really had nightmares of oh, this is Catwoman cover, lovely, and then Putin walks away with it.
Right.
In that scenario,
I just like to.
In that scenario, I imagined him shirtless, and he comes up and
on the
rides in on a polar bear with the bottle of vodka that we were promised but didn't get.
I've got no pants, so that between the two of us, we've got a full set of clothes.
Right. One full set of clothes.
In my version of it, he's shirtless, but he's on the horse.
Yeah.
The first comic story I ever worked for off International Drive in Florida, so real close to Universal Studios, like tourist trap area. This is 20 years ago. It was right after a big Lucasfilm Star Wars slipcase hardcover archive edition had come out. It's like a $150 book, and it was already out of print. It was already hard to find, and we had a person come in, his entire family, and they were from Russia, and they were buying different toys and different comics, and it was great. And he wanted to buy this book, but he kept trying to tell me that the price was $15, not $150. And it's like a 20-minute conversation, argument, kind of back and forth. And finally, I was like, "Sir, it's $150 or I can't sell it to you." And he had a hat on like Adams, and he took his hat off and he threw it at me. And he said, "You are a filthy American capitalist pig dog." And then they walked out and didn't buy anything.
And I like that that's the moment in Orlando where that struck him.
That was the same promoter that invited Adam to Russia.
Right, right. Except that he laid low on the pig dog for the pig.
I got to say, as far as anyone's cliched advent calendar goes, you really opened up a window. I mean, I've never had anybody call me a capitalist pig dog yet.
Yeah. I've never had one.
This interview is not over yet.
Right?
Yeah, we're just, we got time.
Don't know where the camera is.
I think the first time I had ever heard of Allison was you had just changed something with your commissions at shows, and people went after Allison online for it. Like they attacked you for the decision.
Well, because I'm the evil face of the pig dog nation here.
Pig dog nation. And I just remember like reading your comments thinking, yeah, that's reasonable. And I remember reading the other people's comments going, well, you guys are a bunch of assholes.
and I will say, like, it's 15 years later, and the things are terrific. I mean, you know, everybody, generally speaking, is awesome. We don't deal with a lot of that anymore.
It was like 3 guys, but it was 3 guys repeatedly, you know, coming at you.
It was 3 guys, and we know the 3 guys, and you know. Yeah, it was Wednesday. There were pants. The first mistake was that there were pants. You know,
right off the bat, there's added pressure because you're covered up.
Right.
So, during quarantine, tell me what you guys are watching, and specifically, let's talk about what's your favorite current cartoon and what's your favorite classic cartoon, and then tell me what you're binging.
Well, we're really late to the game on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, things that have scared us off because friends of ours loved it too much. You know, and it's like, I last year I finally got into the IT Crowd, which is like now one of my favorite comedies ever, British television show. But years ago, friends of mine had tried so hard to get me to watch it. It actually worked like a polio vaccine. And I was just like, no. And finally we caught one on PBS one night and it was like, this is hysterical. A few months ago, we went to Bob's Burgers, and we had a friend who pushed Bob's Burgers really hard for years, and we were like, I don't want to love anything that much. And
I love Bob's Burgers.
And only about a month or so ago, Allison got me into Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'll watch a lot of stuff that either we've avoided or I've had no time for at dog shows. You know, at the end of the day, you get to your hotel, you don't want to do anything but order room service. You're not really going out because you got dogs with you. So I'll throw on the TV. And sometimes I'll throw on a channel that like, okay, no gunshots, no loud explosions. The dogs will be fine. I'm going to pop out for a bite to eat. And I'll come back to the hotel room and the dogs will have been watching something that I'll then start watching. So like Cartoon Network is a safe channel to put on, TBS. So I actually started watching both Rick and Morty and Big Bang Theory. We both really put off Big Bang Theory forever. We just decided it wasn't for us. And we had friends that loved it, supported it. And thanks to dog shows, I mean, it's on like 2 different channels all night long. You can literally sit down at 6 o'clock and start Big Bang Theory, and it's still going at midnight. Yeah. And we haven't seen it in sequence, but we're both really big fans of it.
We're really watching Big Bang Theory as if it's a 280 episode Quentin Tarantino film.
Yeah. Without the gunshots.
But it's and it feels weird because it's like there's this ubiquitous show that was on for 12 years, and for 12 years I was like, it's nerd blackface, it's not from and now I'm watching it going, this is actually a very charming show with a lot of likable characters and some pretty good zingers
and tons of Adam's product placement. That's the really embarrassing bit. We're like, they really liked Adam.
We're sitting there watching it and going, Wallowitz has this Wonder Woman cover that I drew hanging on his wall, and he's got like a bunch of my mini busts, and I actually have fun playing. It's like a weird Easter egg hunt of like, that's a sideshow Clone Troopers 1/6 figure, and I hate to say it, but I actually do enjoy that aspect of it too. What else?
If you watch closely during one episode, Wallowitz is reading an issue of Tiny Titans.
Oh, nice!
Yeah,
excellent.
I think my favorite part of that show are the oh my god, I just blanked on his name. The Will Wheaton. Anytime Will Wheaton shows up.
We watched one last night with Will Wheaton and Brent Spiner that was hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the Nemesis episode.
Yeah. Yes. But does it classic cartoons? Favorite classic cartoons? Bugs Bunny. It's always Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. I knew I liked you.
Good answer.
I'm a Like the only thing getting through me this pandemic is finding Bugs Bunny gifts to use to talk to people on text and Twitter. Classic cartoons. I mean, my favorite cartoon when I was growing up was Star Blazers, which is Space Battleship Yamato. And several years ago, they did a reboot of it. And my friend, the cosplayer Riddle, has fans in Japan, and she was able to get the Japanese Blu-rays of them for me. And these should be shown to everybody everywhere. Doing like J.J. Abrams should be
How to do a reboot.
J.J. Abrams should be tied down with his eyes held open like Clockwork Orange and forced to watch. Because the reboot of Space Battleship 21, well, it was called Space Battleship 2199. The reboot. It's the perfect way of doing a reboot where it keeps everything that was awesome about the original, adds a couple things that are great, but it's all like in high def with like great music and sound. And she'd never seen it before. She didn't grow up on it.
I grew up seeing it, but I could never get the whole series. I would get an episode this week, and months would go by, and then there'd be an episode, and I always loved how it looked, but I had no idea what the story was. I couldn't follow it. So I was familiar with it, but I couldn't find it. And I mean, we both grew up in New Jersey, but we grew up in very different parts of New Jersey. So I got TV out of New York, and Adam got TV out of Philadelphia. So his obviously TV provider was more consistent in showing those than mine was.
And that explains a lot because it was New Jersey, so that was,
Yeah. I was going to throw out there a little known fact. Franco hates New Jersey.
Oh,
no, just kidding.
My favorite Twitter feed right now is New Jersey. Seriously, just follow New Jersey on Twitter. It's NJGov, and my favorite thing is every day they start the day with just one word: Monday. They tell you today is. They don't even say today is. It's just Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank God, because I don't know what day it is. No idea.
But I can't go wrong with a Bugs Bunny. That's my thing. Because I am late in life to being a div-file. People are always like, oh my God, I'm such a fan of this era of Mickey Mouse. I'm going, where would I have seen that as a child? It's like maybe once in a blue moon on Sunday night, The Wonderful World of Disney would show an old Mickey Mouse cartoon, but there was no place to fall in love with it. Whereas every day, Looney Tunes, on local UHF, and it's funny. Was people ask me like, "What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that?" And there are a few people in this world that I dislike off the bat, but obscurists are top of my list. People who only they don't like something because it's popular. Oh, your favorite gas is oxygen. Well, that's everybody's. Like when you say you like the Beatles or you like Star Wars or you like Bugs Bunny, they're just like, oh, I'm more prefer. And it's like, do you really prefer it, or are you just doing it to make yourself feel like you're in some sort of cool minority? It's like, I don't care if it's everybody else's favorite. It's my favorite for the reasons why I like it, and not just to be part of the herd. And I cannot go wrong with Bugs Bunny.
Mark will attest to this because he's seen me answer this question, but people will ask me who my favorite actor is, and I will always answer Bugs Bunny. It's a true story.
That's good. He's got such range.
Yeah.
But any Bugs Bunny in drag episode.
I've always thought of him
he's a triple threat.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always thought of him as real. So there he is. Hence, he's my favorite actor.
He has an Oscar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You can't say he's not an actor when he's got an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw a clip of Hank Azaria from The Simpsons, and I can't remember who he's talking to, but they're talking about Mel Blanc, and how at one point all the voice cast for The Simpsons were sitting around a table, and they're trying to recreate a scene that Mel Blanc did where it's Elmer Fudd, Daffy and Bugs, and it's duck season, rabbit season, but at one point Bugs comes out dressed as Daffy and Daffy comes out dressed as Bugs. So it's Bugs doing his impersonation of Daffy and Daffy doing his, but it's Mel Blanc's doing everything. And it's a full conversation that he did in like just one or two takes by himself. and they couldn't do it. They couldn't do their own characters impersonating another one of their own characters, talking to a character impersonating another character. Like none of them could do it. So that was why one of the many reasons they're just in awe of Mel Blanc.
Right,
and they know that Mel didn't do any of it, and Bugs is real.
Right.
It's true. All right, and that's our show, folks. Sorry.
Well, actually, this is one of my favorite questions that we've come to ask. In the next couple of minutes, teach me and Mark something that we don't know.
Really? Do people do this?
Yeah, and it's been very interesting to hear the answers.
We've had some fun answers.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a little bit of a struggle for everybody. So
I mean,
don't feel bad, but yeah.
All of my valuable lessons in making people realize that something they like isn't very good.
Oh no.
It's like people come up to me and go, "Hey, what'd you think of Endgame?" And I'll go, "You don't want to know." And they're like, "Oh, come on!"
And he keeps dangling that Endgame bait. He at some point it'll be like a Patreon prize. For our adamantium tier, right.
Like learn how to loathe all the things you previously loved, courtesy of Adam Hughes. And they'll sit there and they'll goad me, and I'll go, "You asked for it," and I'll tell them like what bothered me about the denouement of Endgame, and they'll walk away going, "Huh, I guess I don't like it anymore." And it's like I feel bad,
Yeah, but you take that power and sometimes use it for good. Sometimes you can help people enjoy a thing they didn't previously enjoy by telling them know it too. So it does work ways.
Yeah, the only ones I remember when I crush people. So did I black out? I said the only things I remember are when I crush people.
Oh,
yeah.
Crush them.
And I don't mean to. What could I?
What could you what?
Teach them something they don't know.
Well, it doesn't have to be you. It could be her.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Oh my God.
You want to learn how to brush a dog? I'll show you how to brush a dog.
Yeah, well, yeah, that could be your answer.
Right. So while you're thinking, quick story for the people watching. The first time I met Adam and Allison in person, I was working for a convention in Florida, and the guy who owned the convention had been wanting to get Adam as a guest for years. But the problem is he's kind of a jerk. And he kept using the term no-brainer. He kept saying it's a no-brainer.
You remember who he's talking about?
Yeah.
He trapped you on that plane that time? On a plane. Trapped us. Right. Yeah, trapped us on a plane.
And
stood in the aisle next to Adam's seat the entire flight, trying to sell him on a convention.
And when I took over running the artist alley for that show, he said that his only goal, my only goal, was to get Adam as a guest. And he kept using the word, he kept saying no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for Adam to do my show. It's a no-brainer. And it's like, no, it's a no-brainer for you to have him as a guest, not for him to do your show. And he walked me over, and I met the two of you, and he talked to you, Allison, for a little bit. And then he walks up to me, and he passed me on the shoulder, he goes, "All right, well, good luck." And he walked away. And I was looking through your portfolio, and you said, "Go ahead." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Well, give me the pitch." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. It's pretty clear you think he's a douchebag." and you laughed, and I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm just going to buy a couple prints, and then I'll see you next time." And then that kept going for like 2 years. I kept running at different shows, and he would ask me, like, "Did you talk to them?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "What did you do?" I'm like, "I bought one of their prints." And he's like, "You didn't ask them if they wanted to do the show?" I'm like, "No." And I think after like 2 years, you said, "So do you just not want him at your show now?" And I was like, "Oh no, you both of you, because you're both amazing artists. Like you both have an open door policy. I'll do whatever it takes to get you. I'm just never going to sales pitch you on it because I know you don't like him, and I don't like how you talk to you." And
to be fair, the show was actually in like a competing show territory.
Yeah, exactly. It was
we
too
were
close to
super
MegaCon.
loyal. it was MegaCon territory, and we'd always done MegaCons back when Beth owned it, and
I love
back when the world wasn't run by corporations, at least in our industry, not entirely. And we were very aware of how sort of tenuous some of those shows situations were, and we were really faithful to people that were faithful to us. So a lot of it boiled down to we were doing MegaCon.
I knew that. Yeah, and I knew that, which is why I never asked.
Right.
But it was funny.
But him being a dick wasn't a help.
Yeah, but just so you know, for the 4 years that I worked for him at that show, the two of you were a constant point of contention between he and I. Like a constant. It was every couple of weeks we had that conversation for like 4 years.
Well, you've been a constant point of contention between the two of us, so I think it's fair.
Well, there you go. I'm pro pants. Adam's anti pants. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm not anti pants. I just don't care what they stand for.
And that they require being worn to stand at all.
That's true.
Anyways, here's what's wrong with Endgame.
See you next time.
That's all, folks.
Yeah. I will say that, like, 2020 will go down, in the history books as like the all of us, but until 2021 comes along. But
they can still hear when it goes.
Oh, they okay. 2019 really hurt me because all the things that I was really enjoying ended on like these diet Costco orange soda aftertaste moments, and it's like like Endgame ended in such a way where I went, and the Star Wars saga ended in such a way where I went, and I was like, well, at least I have Game of Thrones, and I was like, well, just Bugs Bunny never hurt me, but so that's just the sort of nature of my nerd rage.
Well, maybe to get you back on an upswing, because maybe you'll hate these too, but I'm going to recommend to you two shows.
Okay.
Schitt's Creek, which I absolutely love.
I was watching it. I've been watching.
Oh, you got to watch the whole thing, and What We Do in the Shadows.
No, I don't know.
And What We Do in the Shadows is just
it's fine.
Yeah.
Now we're in.
That's a show based on a movie.
Yeah, I love
has no right being as good.
Right.
Yeah.
As what because I'll find myself watching the show and going, oh my god, every episode. And I love the the British television show model of 8 episodes or 10 episodes. Because if you have like a 26 episode season, 8 or 10 of the episodes are really excellent, and the rest are a lot of like, let's put Monica in the fat suit for the 19th time. And I'm so happy that they're just doing 10 great episodes, and they didn't need to improve upon the first season. I'm going, if you just if your second season is as good as the first, you guys are great, and they're constantly topping what they used to do. And the other day we finished the most recent episode, the one with the return of the cursed hat. And and the giant troll.
Right. Spoilers, but yeah.
At the end of the episode, I caught myself going, "Oh yeah, there was a movie too." Like the show is so good on its own.
I gotta tell you, my favorite episode this season was the email. The email episode, just like that was hysterical.
I have to vote for the Jackie Daytona episode.
I like that one. There's not a bad episode, but yeah,
episode. It's like halfway through, Allison and I turn to each other, going, "Where the hell is this episode going?" And
the Nadja Evil Doll. I'm
she
so
loves
in love with the Nadja Evil Doll. I'm just waiting.
But I thought they missed a beat when Laszlo finally returned to the house, and he walked into the house, and they're like, "Oh, you're back!" And Nadja was so happy to see him. I really wanted Nadja to turn to the camera crew, because one of the things they've established is that Nadja, even though she's the queen of the damned, she actually has like like she's concerned about the film crew. She apologizes when something goes wrong, and it's like I find that so sweet and charming. And I wandered into the film that was following Laszlo back into the house, going, "You know, Ava's assholes."
Right.
You know, everything on that show is absolutely wonderful. This season, you're about to get
About to get cat butt.
you're about to get cat butt from Mirth the cat. This season, the Colin Robinson episode where he gained too much power, Chris Claremont style.
When he brushes his
With
hair.
the hair.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
And him going down the hallway and then going, "Oh, by the way, I can fly now." I was like,
And again, him hitting on the Naja doll. Like, the Naja doll is everything.
But just like little subtleties, like him in like 7 different chat rooms.
Yes.
Sorry. That was Mirth.
Franco and I are supposed to genuflect now for the cat.
Right.
It was funny. I was watching Moana, the Disney movie Moana.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
I have. Actually, I've seen it a couple times. That's one of the ones I really, really like. I think it's well done.
Me too. So here's something for you. Tamatoa, the big crab.
Yeah.
Jermaine Clement from What We Do in the Shadows.
I did know that. Yep.
I didn't until last night, and I still can't put his face with Tamatoa's voice. I still can't reconcile the two. But yeah, fantastic. Just What We Do in the Shadows. I hadn't seen it until about a month ago.
I know.
And
I was one of the people online badgering you to watch it.
I keep telling him to watch these different shows, and he doesn't listen to me until like 2-3 months later.
but I sympathize with Adam's whole, like, I'll give you a good example. Art loves Breaking Bad, and I just can't, and I'm sure it's a wonderful show, but I can't imagine liking that show even half as much as he does. So I have built up like a mental block against it. So I'll just never watch it. Never.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand. It's tough when you have friends that love a thing so much, and you know that you're almost doomed, because if you don't love it that much, they're going to think less of you. And if you do love it that much, then you're going to feel like a jerk for not having watched it sooner. Yeah.
So I should just watch it and enjoy it, but
never tell him.
Tell him that I've never watched it.
Right. Yep.
So here's a quick random question. So zombie apocalypse, right?
Right.
Let's say that a murder hornet gets infected with COVID-19 and starts the zombie apocalypse. What is the last cocktail you make for yourself before you are eviscerated by zombies?
That was a long about.
Cyanide.
What'd you say?
Cyanide. A cyanide Manhattan. Yeah.
I started the quarantine with espresso martinis.
What?
And
So she'll be awake for the apocalypse.
right,
I was saying
right.
she's been
I
awake
would probably
ever
end
since
it with
then.
that. Yeah,
Nice.
my favorite and vodka all in the same glass. It's perfect.
Don't mention zombies, because that'll start me off on my rant about how bad the concept of fast zombies are.
Ooh, okay.
But that comes after my Endgame dissertation and my "What the hell did they do to Luke Skywalker"
I
discussion.
think my particular favorite thing about zombies and fiction is, with the exception of Shaun of the Dead, every zombie movie or TV show exists in a world that has no previous zombie fiction. Like,
So nobody knows what they are when
knows what
they
they are. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like in today's world, if zombies turned up, we'd all be like, "Oh, zombies."
Yeah.
Whereas, for some reason, when that happens in films, no one ever knows what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Actually, if a zombie breakout happened now in 2020,
No one would be surprised.
everybody would just be like, "Put it on the pile. Just put it on the pile. We'll deal with it."
I saw a meme where somebody was showing all the different things that have happened month by month in 2020, and they're like, "Well, June can't be that bad." And the next picture is a bunch of bears with flamethrowers.
Right.
Like that's what's next.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, 2020.
It's true.
Awesome.
So do you have any questions for us?
Yeah.
Well, no, you already established that you weren't wearing pants.
Oh, we're done with pants. That's just.
Very
Why would I wear
fixated.
pants? I'm at home. I don't need to wear pants. If I was in the store, I'd be wearing pants.
Well, along those lines, Mark, are you open for business?
We're not. So the shelter-in-place order for New York is valid through June 13th. We like to err on the side of caution, so we're not going to reopen the store until July. I can do curbside. We ship stuff, and I'm there every day because I usually do a live sale every day, but we don't let anybody in. And when we do reopen, we're going to require masks. You don't come in without a mask. We're not going to do anything that's going to endanger other customers that we know, and any of our event. We had a bunch of signings planned for the rest of the year, and we canceled everything. And we probably won't do any type of gathering between now and at least the end of the year. It frustrates me when I see people walking around without masks, but I think it's even worse when they are wearing masks but not properly. Like, I have a mask on, but it's not covering my nose, or it's hanging off my ear.
Like I made an effort, but yeah.
I went into a Home Depot yesterday because we were returning something that we bought by mail, and we just couldn't return it by mail. And we walk into a Home Depot, and we go into the parking lot, and there's hundreds of cars in the parking lot. Yeah. There's hundreds of people walking in and out. So we get on the return line, and the guy directly ahead of me is not wearing a mask.
Right.
And I'm about to say something when the lady at the counter says you need to put on a mask. And he turns to her and he goes, "Oh, are we still doing that? I wasn't sure we were still doing that." I'm like, what parking lot did you walk through to get here?
The level of, I want to say stupidity, but that's not it. It's like intentional ignorance blows my mind. Like the level of, it's inconvenient for me, so therefore it's a violation of my civil liberties. Is infuriating.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. When they use the word oppression, I'm being oppressed. You don't know what oppression is.
Yeah, you don't know what oppression is. We're in Georgia, the state leading the nation in foolishness, and we're home. We are not going out. We are not eating out in restaurants. We are not getting our hair done. I've got a lot of silver going on here, and I'm owning it. Yeah, I don't. Mark, you need to get to a hairdresser. But this is not inconvenient. This is keeping other people safe. Like, if we get it, that's not great. But if we get it and we give it to a healthcare provider, or someone that could have saved lives but instead was homesick because we gave it to them, I don't think I could. That wouldn't sit real well with me.
No, I agree.
So we're trying to be smart. But you said so your shop is closed. You're doing curbside, and you've canceled a bunch of signings.
Yep. Yeah. The thing that's kept us going is like a lot of shops, we had to diversify pretty quickly. We launched a new website with a new web store. We launched the Patreon. We launched the Threadless. We added more stuff to eBay. But the thing that's really made the biggest difference is we do a daily live sale on Facebook almost every day. And it oddly enough, it serves two functions. It generates revenue, which is great, but it also keeps members of our community talking to each other, like watching people who have never met each other, and in some cases in different states, because we have 3 different locations, bantering amongst themselves is pretty fun. And we have people that watch those videos every day that don't ever buy anything or rarely do, but they literally just do it to hear us joke or expound upon the history of this comic or this creator or whatnot. So
and doing the Patreon as well has been actually a good generator, and putting up content and having people come to the Patreon, and we've gotten a good reaction out of that. So that was surprising, but we're grateful as well.
Yeah, we've tried the same. Our Patreon is also new, in an effort to sort of lift morale. Maybe we're doing a lot of stuff there that we've not done in any other format. Watching both of us draw, interacting with us while we draw, posting. Adam posts director's commentaries on pages he's done. So it's a lot of content that people wouldn't see anywhere else, and people seem to be really digging it, and they look forward to it. We try to do a video a weekend so that at least once a week you can hop on our Patreon and see one of us either drawing or coloring or communicating with each other via the process, and people seem to be enjoying it. And then I'm hoping to get our online store back up and running, because I know people, they want stuff and we've not been able to provide that, so I'm hoping to do that. But these sort of Facebook daily sales that you're doing help you out if we sent you guys some books that were signed. Maybe you guys could offer them that way to your collectors.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't say no.
All right,
We'll
send you some stuff.
That'd be awesome.
Wow,
Thank you so much.
amazing.
Hey, thanks for being good friends.
Oh yeah,
You're
we love y'all.
super
That's
sweet. Thank
awesome.
you.
And then of course, if there's ever anything we or the stores can do for y'all, you know we're there for you. So
Hey, doing chats like this I think is great. A lot is going to be about morale boosting. If we want people to stay home, we want people to wear masks and to make safe decisions. Well, let's give people something fun to do when they're staying home. And that's where this kind of online content comes in, I think.
yeah. And then for any of you watching, their Patreon address and Adam's address is at the bottom and scrolling. Watch it. You should go there. When you do the videos, do you do them live or do you record them and post them, or a little bit of both?
Oh no, I'm not that technologically advanced. Like we're lucky I figured out how to Patreon, and God bless, Adam has some terrific fans, and there was a gal who really walked me through like Barney style, because I'm a big old dummy. So we're doing it live for right now. I'd love to at some point get like 2 camera angles and editing stuff, but that's not me.
Franco handles all that stuff for us. Y'all are lucky I can turn my phone on. Okay?
Right? What? You couldn't. We saw you. You were all upside down in the beginning.
Good.
It was adorable.
Well, thank goodness y'all were there to help out.
If you need help with that, just hit me up and I can walk you through anything you want.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for your time. We really, really appreciate it more than you know. These videos have been kind of like a little therapeutic for me and Mark. We get to sit once a week and kind of have fun with people. So and we learn new things, and we learned that Adam Hughes does not wear pants or like Endgame. So those are the things that we've learned.
Well,
it's good. It's good too, because we get to see people that we only get to see.
Stop talking. Stop talking. This is me. I did not hate Endgame. I dislike the fact that at the very end of a 10-year run, they turned Captain America into a baby erasing time fucker.
Oh,
okay.
We were so good right till the end. You had to throw in the F-bomb. And there it is. His summation.
And I'm not gonna bleep it either.
15 seconds right there. Adam's summation of why he didn't like Endgame.
I liked Endgame.
I knew it was before.
It was Captain. We don't trade lives. Going back in time to screw a woman out of her husband and erasing their children from existence that bothered me.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first.
And not that I disagree with you, but didn't they come out and say that no, him messing with time he's in another alternate dimension?
Okay, let me say this. First off, the directors and writers keep contradicting themselves. They always. Two, it wouldn't matter to Captain America if he was creating an alternate timeline.
That's true.
Okay, Mr. We don't trade lives. Going, well, in another reality, the guy that married Peggy is just gonna have to spend his life masturbating, and their 2 kids that they created don't exist.
We're going downhill quick.
That's America's ass.
It's America's asshole is what that is. Okay, and I resent the fact that the Chris Evans Captain America was like, for me, oh my god, the Chris Evans Captain America was like Christopher Reeve to me. It was like, oh my god, the perfect Captain America. And then at the very last, like literally as Captain America is going off screen, he went N-word. And I was like, you guys, and I understand. Look, I understand why they did it. Okay, it was Chris Evans' last movie. They had to write Cap out because, otherwise in future MCU movies, when things are getting really rough, characters would need to go, wow, Kang the Conqueror is really America. We need to get rid of him. They couldn't kill him because they killed Tony Stark and Natasha Romanoff. But they didn't think it through. And, I have, and it's funny is I've had a lot of people go to me, alternate realities. Well, first off, Captain America is not Doc Brown. Okay. He's not like, hey, I'm going to go create a whole other reality and, for my penis. And
this all went so downhill so quickly.
I was gonna say this whole interview, this whole video was going so well, and then it got so much better.
And he could have started here.
No, because there's no, because you're gonna cut me off because there's no coming back.
No.
I'm not. No. Here's it's gonna make you laugh. So when I went to see Endgame, it was I had been at a convention in DC that weekend, so I didn't get to see it on opening night like I normally would. I came back, I went right into work, so it's a Monday, and it's at 5 o'clock, and I'm exhausted. I want to go home, but I know I had already made it 3 days without spoilers, so I'm like, I'm just gonna go see whatever the next showing is.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I end up like an 8:30 showing. I'm in the second row, all the way to the right, so I'm like this. But that's okay. And but it gets the moment where Steve gets the hammer. A lady in the back of the theater, she goes like nobody's talking. Everyone's like, but the lady goes, "Oh, you fucked now." And the entire audience just lost their stuff, man. It was. I wish it was in the movie. I wish you could hear her say it in the movie.
Yeah. Well, those videos that people have been posting of like them filming the moment in a crowd. And like the crowd going berserk when he catches the hammer. I mean, they're just glorious, Do you know I had that moment spoiled for me?
Oh, really?
Best spoiler, though.
Yeah, best spoiler. I had it spoiled by Chris Evans.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do know that because you told me when we were at dinner in Baltimore.
Yeah, I actually worked on Endgame for one day, and it was during the additional photography in September of 2018. Friends of mine work on the film because they filmed them here in Atlanta at Fayetteville, Georgia, and they were like, "We're doing additional photography, and we need extra hands." And I was like, "You know what? This is going to be my last chance to do this with these actors, and this I'll do it. Now, additional photography that usually means we didn't when we did principal photography, we didn't get a shot of Thor, picking up the bag of Doritos, or we didn't get an over the shoulder shot of the Wasp or something like that. I walked on soundstage for my one day. Soundstage the size of a football field, green walls in every direction. The set is the destroyed remains of the Avengers compound, and it was on fire the entire day. And I walk onto set, and there's hundreds of people on set, including Kevin Feige. And the first thing I see is Chris Evans standing there in his Captain America costume, holding half a shield and Mjolnir. And I looked at my friend who got me the job, and I was like, "What the shit is this?" And when you do that, when you sit there and go, "What the?" and you turn your head in exasperation. I turned my head in exasperation. Fat Thor. I turned my head, and there's Chris Hemsworth in his Fat Thor costume, and I just like, I spent that day carrying around the top half of Iron Man as visual reference for the VFX crew, and I like hid my eyes behind Iron Man because I was going, I don't want to know any more about the end of this movie. So
those are good spoilers,
right? Yeah. If you're gonna that way,
right?
So, yeah, there you go. But I will. I shall not rant anymore about.
What's to rant? You went there.
Oh, I've got facts. I've got.
This is its own. This is its own podcast on its own. Margaritas, some nacho chips.
I have pie charts and graphs.
For the record, if you all want to do another episode like in a month from now with some margaritas and nothing but Endgame, we are totally up for that. We'll get Art on this bad boy too.
All right.
I'm just saying. We'll do it.
We could follow up with what's wrong with Star Wars. Then we could follow it up with, how I ruined pork chops last night. Like, we could just keep going.
I like stuff. There's stuff I like.
We like Bugs Bunny. Any of you watching, we can establish that all four of us do, in fact, like Bugs Bunny. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. It was a lot of fun, and we hope you come back. And if you ever need anything, please reach out to us.
Please do.
Oh, by all means, and keep an eye on the mail. We'll send you some fun stuff that you can do in your store Facebook sales.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, guys.
Bye for now.